and gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Turn up the bass. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the Hub City in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the Valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Turn up the bass. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark. What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host @JimTuck89 on Twitter, JimTuck89, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call myself, Tucker! And I am joined by the full-time, part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Ian Garavaglia, what's up, dog?
What's up, dog? Wait, this is when I should say, like, what's going on, Kyle? Oh, wait, shoot. We actually have Kyle in the background this fine evening. He was out in the, my hometown that I completely call my hometown now. Just didn't want to come see me, though, but that's okay. It's beyond the point. I did go and watch the March Madness, and he is now in the background pushing the buttons, as the man who shall not be named used to do.
Yeah, on the Mark Wrestling Podcast, experiencing a revolution, some would say.
I don't get it.
Okay. We got AEW Revolution 2 recap tonight, and then a dash of WWE, Rollins, Punk, those types of things. But first, we got to get our plugs out of the way. We just got going. Ladies and gentlemen, visit onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com for all of your merch needs, including that sweet hat. Ian, what else can they get on onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com?
Well, you get your Pop and Large shirts, which is still our latest release, and my next paycheck will be getting a Pop and Large shirt, because I have yet to do that, even though I designed the shirts. It's all right. Yeah. Kind of feel pretty bad about that, but we'll be getting mine, and you guys could be getting yourselves the Pop and Large shirts as well if you want to represent the Main Event Wrestling Network and or the OTM podcast, the one you're listening to right now, actually.
Absolutely. We've got hit that subscribe button for more. Make sure you tell at least one friend. We are trying to get to 500 on YouTube, and we recently crossed the 400 mark, and a Rey Mysterio figure will be going out to Jay Gold very soon. I'm trying.
Wait, actually, Kai, now that you bring up that, this is basically as close as you're going to get. If you did not know, the OG, the Champ is Here shirt is actually right here. One of two. The other one is owned by, of course, Mr. Ryan Vogus. But, yeah, missed the mark on that. It was a limited time edition.
Someone say Vogus. What's up, Dirk?
Ooh, that's a great name. Hold on.
Well, anybody named Dirk sounds like a stand-up individual.
What a name, right? Dirk Van Fleet.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks backstage.
Absolutely. Tucky and Ian getting gassed up in the chat. We got 19 here. If you 19 tell one person, that's 19 more in the queue. When we get to 500 subscribers on YouTube, I'm sending you eventually a signed Kurt Angle figure, JSA certed. That is this one. Dude, this is hard.
You got a lot of figures back there.
This one right here, right there, little blue guy. That's the old school one. Two figures to the left of that one from our view is Shawn Michaels. Not bad. DDP in the middle. Autograph collection is solid, but stagnant at the moment. Parenthood is yikes. I think that's a good way to put it. But Ian, AEW Revolution this weekend. We're going to talk about it right after we plug at main event _net. That is a Main Event Wrestling Network. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian, tell them what the Main Event Wrestling Network is, please.
Yeah, the Main Event Wrestling Network, it is basically a conglomeration. It's a big wrestling term nowadays, but a lot of people that just enjoy wrestling and love wrestling and want to spread the positivity about wrestling. But sometimes we like to talk trash about it, but that's okay because sometimes it's due. But yeah, Main Event Wrestling Network, we have a bunch of podcasts now. Mr. OTM is working overtime now on a Tuesday, and he's going after dark right after NXT on NXT Night Shift. And that is with Mr. J Gold. Incredible. They have some good conversations, so if you have not checked it out yet, go back, listen to it. Paperclip Mike is also putting out some blogs as well. Just a brand new one. I believe yesterday came out or the day before. Don't quote me, but one of those 2 days. But yeah, everybody's still going strong. And if you would like to join the Main Event Wrestling Network, where we just basically give you a platform to perform on, as the great Tim Vicious would say, just reach out to one of us. Our handles are right below us, or you go at main event _net and just reach out.
Yeah, dude, we got room on the boat. Specifically, content creators, graphics creators,
Yes.
things of that nature. If you're into pro wrestling and want to contribute to a small but growing community of like-minded individuals, join the Main Event Network. And if you're not following the Main Event Wrestling Network, where are you going, buddy? Make sure you hit that. Great Brown Hope says NXT Night Shift is the After Dark Main Event Network special. Absolutely. I'm excited for that. Kyle squeezing in another show. Where does he find the time?
I was about to say, this might be a coincidence, but I think not. I mean, first episode is this week, and then he ditches us on OTM. I don't know. Some are saying there's a translation there. Just saying, throwing it out there, throwing it out the wind.
Are we becoming,
backstage?
Are we becoming the side piece? People are asking. You can't always trust what the dirt sheets say, folks. But the tension in the StreamYard between the two on camera and the one off camera is palpable. You can cut it with a knife. And we're getting two birds. So on our way to All Elite Wrestling's Revolution, emanating live from where?
That's
Where
a good
was it?
question. Oh, that was in Arizona?
No,
I think.
that's double or nothing.
Oh, shoot. That's what I was thinking of. It's somewhere in California, I think. Somewhere out there.
Oh, LA, Crypto.com Arena. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There we go.
That.
Knew it all along. I'm telling you what, I think Hangman versus MJF was a great choice to open the show. I believe there was some discourse on the preview episode about this being a strong candidate to open the show, but I believe, picked Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Is that correct, Ian?
I was the one that was different. I chose Hangman in this situation because I think you are right. I think I did pick MJF.
I think it was an MJF sweep, but that
I think it was. Yeah,
is not the case in this one. Hangman goes over in a good match, and this, unlike the main event, is a match that I wouldn't mind seeing again. Ian, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this match, which we said last week on our prediction show, a lot of these matches were emotionally charged. And I mean, the follow-up on Dynamite last night, I thought was also incredible. Not even just talking about the MVP part, that dissension of MJF's mindset after a loss. I think that's huge. It's a big story for AEW. And like the Swerve and Hangman, Swerve excels at the 3-match kind of situation, best of 3. And Hangman obviously does the same. So, I mean, throw MJF and Hangman in the ring for any pay-per-view, and it's going to be gold.
Yeah, I agree. The pile driver spot on the chair, something
scary. There's no way he did not make contact because he literally jumped into the chair. Yeah, it got me. I have not seen anything like that.
Probably just a little, boop. Current MVM Kind says wanted MJF to win, but I'm not disappointed Hangman won. Excited to see what they do going forward. Now could possibly see a rematch, and he and I think the two of us would be down for it. He loves the storytelling for this feud, and shout out to AEW giving us a long-term story feud more than wrestling. And I think AEW is starting a little bit in some storylines to give us something to kind of tune in for. And I will tell you, I am not an active weekly AEW viewer, but after this show, that Hangman thing felt like something. There was another match or two and news from the show that indicate there's a few more somethings potentially to see. So I give that one a thumbs up as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say really quick. I mean, I think up and down the card, I would say 4, maybe 5 of these matches were possible match of the year contenders, which we knew that was going into it, and they delivered. And we haven't even mentioned the main event, which we'll get to.
Yeah, we will. Next up, we have the Swerve versus Ricochet #1 contender match, and this I don't know that I called this one. I think everyone anticipated a good match, and this was another strong match on the card, right? As AEW is at the plate, I think after this one we're 2 for 2. Ian, what do you think?
Well, I got my prediction wrong because I figured this was the match that they'd maybe have the heel go over in a big way because Ricochet's kind of new, kind of gotten onto that character now. However, I was completely wrong. I think you guys nailed it in the predictions. Again, we'll get to the main event and the results, but Swerve becoming #1 contender and then basically immediately saying, yeah, I'm him. I'm coming for you now. I think this is the right decision. Again, we'll touch more on it when we start talking about the main event, but as of right now, there's one guy that is basically untouchable and unkillable. I mean, literally and figuratively, and that's Swerve. That guy is Swerve. That guy is the face of AEW, and he's rightfully deserved so. Him and just having Swerve and Ricochet getting thrown into the ring together, going into that feud is kind of meh. Ricochet having a little character change, Swerve adjusting to that, going back into that devilish mindset, the kind of craziness of it all. Again, this was one of those feuds. If it would have kept going, I would not be upset. I think we will still see something because I don't think it had full closure after this match, but yeah, another incredible one.
Yeah, I also picked Ricochet to go over in this one and thought that I guess looking at the main event between Moxley and Edge, it makes more sense for Swerve to come out to face either almost with I think the argument with Ricochet's character change could have been that he could be a Swerve for each. I was kind of sneaky interested in a Ricochet Edge main event.
Hold on, Tucky. I think your mic's freaking out on us.
You're a little quiet out on us.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Am I?
No, you're back. You're back. You're back. It
might be a signal. I didn't touch anything, so maybe my voice is just electric as the host. So, yeah, I enjoyed this one. Gags came out of this one with a number of main event or not main event wrestling matches of the year, and this was one of the 4. And I thought, man, we are 2 for 2. We are heating up. And that trend certainly continued. Paperclip Mike offers, glad people get to see what Ricochet can do. Saw him wrestle Pac in DG USA once. Talk about a match.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, you know.
I was going to say, I have no idea what DG USA is, but I'm going to look up that match now. Thank you.
Paperclip Mike's going to hook it up with that full title. But anything else to add about this one?
Not necessarily. Again, it was just... this was one of those matches that, sure, they could have put on really good wrestling in the ring, which they did, but I think the story that went into it, and I mean, just the meteoric rise that Swerve is still on, really did help contribute to this match, and I think it showed. Like we said, it was match of the year contender, and I think it was emotionally driven as well. I mean, it takes the fans to be into it for it to become match of the year.
Well, I tell you what, the next match on the card receives a standing ovation at the box office. Let's talk about the Hollywood ending. Mariah May, Toni Storm. Could it get any better, right? And what a match. I loved the match itself. I loved the grittiness and the attitude of it. I particularly enjoyed the table spot at the end that became its own movie poster in a sense, and wrap your hand in some glass, beat the out of each other, and specifically kudos to Mariah May in this one. So impressed. I continue to not be let down by her when I began my fandom of Mariah May without much expectation. Ian, your thoughts on the Hollywood ending?
Again, it goes back into match of the year contender because holy shit, we knew this was going to be the Hollywood ending. We knew it had to be a really, really good ending, and they delivered because they played it on Dynamite last night. The story that they were able to tell from the beginning, you could literally write it into a movie. It feels like a movie plot. Best of friends, break up, going through it. But again, that's just when wrestling is really, really good. But they did everything right from the beginning, and the ladies did not hold back in this match whatsoever. There were a few times I genuinely was concerned about the cuts because they looked very deep. Toni Storm got a little bit deep of a cut. And then just that freeze frame shot of literally the end across the board was just perfect.
Yeah, it was chef's kiss. And 2 out of these 3 contests thus far attached to compelling feuds. Swerve and Ricochet was a thing, but that to me was more about a wrestling match. And certainly by no means did it fumble in regards to the feud, but 2 out of 3 really strong candidates. I think the thing that we need to consider now is where does Mariah May go from here?
That's a really tough question. Again, my mind kind of immediately goes to kind of a Ricochet situation. Obviously, Ricochet.
She's going to challenge Ricochet. Incredible. Tell me more.
Yeah, no, just with the whole character development thing. I think just after this match, what Toni Storm was able to do for Mariah May as a character and wrestler in the AEW atmosphere, just they have made Mariah May, and again, Mariah May also made herself into one of the biggest stars in AEW. Definitely in the women's division. Give her some time off the title. Maybe just give her some time away for a little while. She was world champion, went straight back into Toni Storm's 2 matches that they had to finish it off. So they have some time to kind of relax with her. You don't have to strike while the iron's hot with Mariah because you could wait a while, have her return, and whoever is champion with either the TBS title or the AEW World title, you have a solid contender right there.
I have an idea.
Okay.
Mariah May, Mercedes Moné.
Mariah wins that, right?
If somebody's going to take the belt off Mercedes, would that be striking when the iron's hot?
Going straight into it?
I don't know if it's got to be right now.
Okay.
But
I like it. I'm not going to complain.
We've got All In Texas. I know that is not next.
Right.
Certainly a destination, right? And they have Texas Rangers Stadium and plenty of seats to fill. Not a knock. They're doing well so far in regards to those tickets, but I think that is certainly a match that could be benefit. What?
Oh God!
All right, shout out to the producer getting clicky with it. Holy,
he did warn us. I checked the private chat. He did warn us, but that was out of nowhere. That got me.
Yeah, didn't read that one. Paperclip Mike easily on pace for best women's match of the year, if not overall match of the year. What do these Mania matches on the women's side have to look like to beat it? This had it all, didn't it? It had good wrestling, it had aggression, it had attitude, it had a compelling feud. There was athleticism. I don't know what Io and Bianca need to do, or Charlotte and Tiffany. I don't know. This one is at the top of the podium for me in the women's category for sure, but in the men's category along with Mike as well. Ian, your thoughts?
Yeah, no. Well, it's even crazier too because we have so much praise for this match, and let's be honest, we pretty much knew who was going to win it. They're calling it the Hollywood ending. If they really want to end it like a movie, the good guy's going to win in the end. In the back of our mind, we're like, yeah, Toni Storm's going to win this. It shouldn't be Mariah May winning, and yet it still delivered on all fronts because it touched on just the absolute mayhem of story that the 2 girls had throughout the year. So, yeah, for WrestleMania, to overcome it, it's kind of tough. I know we're not going to be talking too much about WWE today, but I do want to bring up the 1 second. I know it's kind of like a crazy change into WWE, but Monday Night Raw, we kind of got a double heel turn out of nowhere with the Io, Rhea, and Bianca match. So give me your quick thoughts.
I think between the three of them, what a way to give Io more credibility heading into it. Again, the Io upset for me was fun, but I was like married to Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, and so I like that after Elimination Chamber they are quickly pressing buttons to set up feuds for the next 6 to 7 weeks. But yeah, that was a significantly wild transition.
Yeah, I was just asking because I was wondering because you had your critiques. I shouldn't say critiques, but like you said, you weren't
Curiosities.
happy.
Yeah. Not mad, just a little disappointed.
Yeah.
No.
I heard that before.
Moving on, another great match. This likely one of Gag's match of the year candidates for this card as well. Kenny Omega defeats Takeshita to become international champion. I had really high expectations, and I think they were mostly met with this one. Kenny Omega gets the defeat, and we can talk about the merger of the international championship and the continental championship here.
Rumors.
Firm speculation that AEW does have a desire to do it. But Ian, what were your thoughts? Gags reports that this was not one of the match of the year candidates.
I did note that. I went back and checked his Twitter and seen, because I think he updated every time there was a match of the year candidate. So I went back and checked that. This was not on that list, which, again, that's why I said arguably could be 5. Arguably could be 5 match of the year candidates. Yeah, this was up there for me. My expectations weren't too high because I kind of knew, Kenny still has to kind of take it easy just a little bit. I mean, they're pretty much telling us straight to our face. Obviously, it still has some story to it, and it's a little fake, but he is cleared to fight, cleared to wrestle. The biggest takeaway for me was how damn good Takeshita is. That man, I mean, even last night on Dynamite, when he came out to fight Max Caster in kind of like a fun spot, that crowd was hot for Takeshita. They loved him. Again, this is one of those guys in AEW, like a Kyle Fletcher. Call it the Don Callis effect or the AEW effect, whatever you want to call it, but they have future stars that could be holding gold and carrying a company.
I got to tell you, my faith in Don Callis when he first came in was very low. I was not super interested, and I got to tell you, I don't like him, which means he's doing a good job. You know what I mean? Don Callis he talks a lot, and he just rubs you the wrong way. But I thought this was a solid match. I forgot that the main event was one of Gag's match of the year candidates, and we're gonna get to that in just a bit. But before, we have to talk about a steel cage match, Ian. A match. The ring is surrounded in steel in a cage. You put 2 guys in it, right? And then things happen. And one of those things that happened on Sunday in Los Angeles was magic between these two. Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, steel cage match. Started with the stare down on top, ended with it throwing down. Over-delivered, in my opinion. I thought the cage would restrict the 2 of them, and gentlemen, it did not. And ladies, if there is one.
I would doubt it.
No.
Yeah, no problem with that. Yeah, again, this was my match of the night. And I think, again, it's kind of playing into that whole AEW style, but I think done right, not done over facetiously. Is that a word, grammar teacher? Did I use that right?
No.
Okay, we'll go with it. New T-shirt idea. No.
Nope.
No, the steel cage match was it was special because, again, this is another one where the story was okay going into it. It kind of had the same vibe as a Tony Storm Mariah May, where it was pure hatred between the 2 of them. Friends from the past. The Don Callis stuff, I've been kind of I've been attracted to it, but also at the same time, like what they have going on now with kind of Kenny Omega, Ospreay in the mix, and Mark Davis. I like what they're doing with it, but it kind of felt thrown together really, really quickly. That would probably be my only downside of this match was the Mark Davis situation. They could have played a little bit more into it with the steel cage, but because I mean the Dynamite going into the Revolution show was Mark Davis being yelled at by Don Callis, and then okay, we get the steel cage match, and then Mark Davis just immediately, I think he kicked him in the nuts or something. It was just like, okay, well, decision's made.
Swerve.
Yeah, I guess it was a swerve, but didn't really show the other side of it.
It was a quick pop in, pop out. The classic situation. We're in for a minute, we're out for a bit.
Been there.
I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
Okay. Here's the thing. Okay. Special note. Not a shocking statement by any means. It's not surprising to see Will Ospreay carry his opponent to a great match. In this one, Fletcher did not need carried. You know what I mean? And I tell you, going from the long hair to the shorter hair, it makes him look more of a bully. And I
Demented.
I've enjoyed watching this Kyle Fletcher development because early on, very low stock and underutilization. So this is a guy that I see as one of those AEW kind of homegrown guys. Obviously, he had a career prior, but a guy that has taken advantage of an opportunity in AEW and grown on his own.
Yeah, and I mean, just from the match itself, you could kind of understand that. Again, that's why I said it was kind of like that Tony Storm, Mariah May. As Tony Storm helped Mariah May into the company, Ospreay did the same for Fletcher, and Ospreay's taken full advantage of it. Because, I mean, he had to say yes to getting his hair shaved off. Like, the guy had to commit. That's not faking it. He literally had to commit to that. So, again, that Don Callis effect is it's fantastic because now you have a guy.
Real. And I never thought I'd say that. It's like, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Paul Heyman thing, the Paul Heyman effect, where it's like, this guy's with Paul Heyman right now. This guy is a big deal. Anybody with Don Callis right now, hopefully they get there with Mark Davis, because I think he is good enough to be that good. It's just that character development needs to be there, which probably is why they're doing this with Don Callis in the first place.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And in a week that had a CM Punk Seth Rollins steel cage match, this one, I agree, was the steel cage match of the week. Does
TNA have one tonight, Eric? I know he's in the chat.
Eric is joining us live on the stream here. He is watching TNA. Shout out to Eric Douglas. Good to see you. Kyle is a really interesting prospect. I mean, he's 24 to 26 tops, and he's already this good. Eric, I think both of us would agree.
Yeah, he's kind of like that wrestler that was, I mean, like a Will Ospreay, kind of bred into this style of wrestling. And that was like the biggest thing for him was that character needs to be there. It kind of just felt like a normal, just generic, really good wrestler. And it was like, okay, why do we care about you though? This is why we care, because he is a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That was the second to last match of the year candidate on Gag's list. The final candidate, I do believe, Gags mentioned, was this thing that happened here at the end of the show, and we had Cope, and John Moxley they had a match.
Okay, I'm just gonna start this one off. I don't think the match was that bad. Like the backlash the match has gotten, I get it. Yes, it was not a good match, but also the matches before this, it was placed very poorly. If they would have opened the show with this match, okay, I think it would be a little bit better. The crowd's fresh. I don't know about you, but I had this feeling of like, this is like not a John Moxley versus Cope match. It felt like an Edge versus Dean Ambrose match. Does that make any sense? Like, it didn't feel like an AEW match to me.
How so? The Death Riders go over. John Moxley wins.
That's
not AEW. Like,
no, I'm talking in-ring kind of style. It felt a little slower, a little more methodical, which is good. That's awesome to have. But I don't know. It just felt like the placement of this match on this card did not do any justice to the match. Again, not a good match. It was, if anything, maybe average kind of match, not a pay-per-view quality match. So I don't hate the ending. I don't hate the retain at all. If Copeland would have won it, or sorry, Cope, if he would have won it, okay, cool. Would have gotten a really good reaction, I'm sure. But after the match, I think it all makes sense with Swerve. Again, Swerve, Meteoric Rise, still the face of the company, going after the Death Riders. He's going to need a group behind him, by the way, so interested to see how that happens. I don't know. This match, it's gotten a lot of flack, deservedly so, but also I think a little bit too much.
Flack given, in Ian's opinion, a bit much in the flack department. It was fine. I do think our hopes were at an all-time high, like home run after home run, and then this one was a foul bunt strikeout. In my opinion, it just really happens. Swerve Moxley, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And so ultimately we come out of a really good pay-per-view, and then this was a match that happened on it. We had the Christian Cage of it all come in, and he cashed in, correct? Like he burned.
Yeah.
He
gone.
burned the contract.
Yep.
And so that is a mechanic, a wrench in the plans in some sort. It's a wrinkle in the plot there. Paperclip Mike asks, do we get Cope and Christian soon?
Soon? Yes. I don't know. I think they have some other stuff going on with the old patriarchy. If you watched Dynamite last night, again, incredible segment. Had a little, I guess, face turn by what's his face, the child, the son.
What?
Mr. Director, you need to help me out. I forgot his name, which is pretty
Nick
bad.
Wayne?
Nick Wayne. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like that segment. So I think they have a direction for Christian. Again, it felt kind of annoying that he just burned the contract, but also at the same time, they kind of signed up for it. They waited this long. Obviously, everybody was anticipating something huge with that contract signing, or I guess it is contract signing, and he would win it. But obviously that did not happen, and they shot themselves in the foot with it. I think the whole issue with this entire feud of Cope versus Moxley, I mean, you could just say the Death Riders in general, is they're waiting way too long and trying to let it ride. I think Moxley's cutting decent promos or vignettes, whatever you want to call them, backstage. Last one on last night's Dynamite, I thought was really good. It felt real, but Moxley always kind of has that. I think he genuinely thinks somebody is actually trying to come kill him and take his title. That's just my thoughts. But yeah, I think Moxley's doing a good job trying to sell it. It's just like, I wish it was AEW versus Death Riders, not Cope. you know?
Well, and Paperclip Mike goes on to mention that he's regarding them reuniting. Do Cope and Christian come together right now?
Over me. I don't think so.
Boom, 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 boom. No, okay. All right, moving on. Ian,
Yes.
I enjoyed the show. You enjoyed the show, but we got to grade it. We do this at the end of all the PLEs and the PPVs and the AEWs and the WWEs. I'll go first. I'm giving it a
please.
93. 93 out of 100. A notch or two off for the main event, but over delivered. I would say. I think we have come to expect great cards. And last week we did talk about a few AEW pay-per-view duds. They are real. They have happened. This was certainly not one of them. It makes me want to get my thumb back on the pulse as we head towards Dynasty. April 6th, less than a month away from the next AEW pay-per-view. And so we'll see. They've got 10 events in the first 10 months of the year, these pay-per-views. So we've got April, May, July, August, September. And so we're going to see the kind of short-term versus long-term storytelling as they arc between going from 1 to 4 to 12 plus this year potentially. I'm looking forward to it. Ian, your grade for AEW Revolution?
Seeing as that I didn't think the main event was god awful and really bad, I like the result of it. I think again, the issue with it is just they waited so long to get here. The tag match kind of sucked, which hurts because I love the Outrunners. But I would probably go around a 95 range for me. This was one of the best AEW pay-per-views of all time. Nothing's ever going to be 2019 All Out, though, but maybe one day.
Maybe. Gag says the 2021 All Out.
Shoot. Yeah, 2019 All In was the thing. Yep, good call, Mr. Director.
As you will. Moving on, I think another big thing to note, I enjoyed Monday Night Raw. A number of things intriguing to me. But in particular, I thought Cody's promo was great. They were scripted to run an R-Truth promo with Cody too, but they thought the gravitas of that single Cody promo was enough, and they didn't want to kind of mess with the job he did. Got me fired up, but even more fired up for the steel cage match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I have thoughts on this. Ian, you can go first.
Ooh, okay. Awesome. The issue I kind of had with it, I think we all knew we were kind of going to get here at some point. Maybe they left. I mean, Roman had to fit in somewhere. They have a lot of story to tell, which is good. I think that's a really good thing. There's a lot of mystery to it. We see Paul Heyman with Punk in the ring afterwards, kind of talking to each other quietly. Also, where the fuck did Paul Heyman come from? That man just appeared out of nowhere. But
you will.
Yeah, the match was really, really good, which is fantastic for a Monday Night Raw. We haven't had that main event caliber since probably the first Netflix Raw, honestly. So that feeling of a really good Raw is nice to have because I feel like they're kind of on a little decline. But like you said earlier, I mean, every single feud is kind of getting this ramp up right now for WrestleMania, and it almost like everything's set. It's just let the pieces play and just kind of tell the stories of everything.
Keep everyone healthy, damn it. This WrestleMania is looking to be a cooking, and I had a conversation with myself in regards to this match. I don't know if I love the GTS Stomp Fest.
I didn't want to say it.
And so I'm thinking this as I'm running, but then the other flip side of it, is it because these two are at the top of the card and that is what's necessary? I'm not sure about I know hard hitting, entertaining, a lot of booms, right? And we're not unattested or we're not unaware of, God damn it. We're not unaware of the fireworks shows that WWE will put in the main events at times. In recent memory, you got the tractor moment at SummerSlam. You've got big debuts. You've got things popping large, as some would say. I don't know. I just felt like it was like, when are these two gonna ever die? In my specific opinion, but I like the layers with it. Here's Roman back into it. Here's the Paul Heyman CM Punk thing of it. Here's the CM Punk Seth Rollins of it. Here's the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins of it. There's a lot of it, and I'm here for it. And you think and harken back to some of these iconic triple threats that have been a trademark and a stamp on WrestleMania. I hope that's what we get here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just wanted to I wanted to jump on that topic as well, though, about, I guess, finisher versus finisher just in this match. I didn't want to bring it up, but it did feel like it at times. But again, I kind of thought about the story that was going into this match. It didn't feel like a Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar kind of situation of who could hit their finisher first for the 5th time. Didn't feel like that to me because, I mean, going into this match, it was basically these two have pure hatred. And especially with the curb stomp, that is still one of the coolest finishers in wrestling. I love it. And you could hit that literally at any time because it's kind of like an RKO, but it doesn't finish him the first time, which doesn't really make sense in real terms. But yeah, I get it with the GTS. GTS being overused is kind of annoying. We've kind of always known the GTS to be, okay, it's over. Now, I mean, it literally is called go to sleep. I like when they play it out with the wrestler that got hit by GTS evading a pin, but I understand that part and that aspect of it. And I kind of hope the triple threat at Mania doesn't turn into a finisher fest. But again, there's so much time now that they could, all the pieces are laid out there. Let them tell their story.
Curb into a curb stomp, into a GTS, into a spear, and then a spear, and then another freaking spear. Then we got a GTS. Oh my god! A lot of letters, a lot of spears, a lot of ooh ahs in this one. But here's the thing: what is the favor? You know, I think that is quite an appealing layer to this onion.
It doesn't make any sense to me. It felt like the favor was already supposed to happen. At least to me. Obviously, that may not be the case. It still may have already happened. I think the main selling point about the whole favor thing was before Punk looked pissed off at Paul, at Heyman, because I think that favor was supposed to happen. I think that was at Rumble, or I don't remember which show exactly it was, but now we have Roman getting pissed at Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's kind of the middleman of two different guys that he's supposed to be the advocate for, which this is something new for Paul Heyman. We haven't seen this, I mean, I don't think ever in my recollection. So I think the favor is still yet to be revealed. I mean, we could speculate till, 3 o'clock in the morning here. We're not going to do that, by the way. I think this is one of those big question marks that you could really play out and make it worthwhile to tune in every single week.
Yeah, well, and I don't think the favor has paid off. I think this is going to be a Shakespearean big moment. I think there's a pop waiting abound for this one. And now, after the John Cena heel turn, it is going to be tough to beat that pop. So I think they're going to take many swings at WrestleMania. I'm hoping that this Mania makes a statement. And I'm looking forward to it. And I wish those prices would drop by about 80%.
Got bad news for you.
Yeah,
I got bad news.
I'm gonna save some money and not do that. Damn it. Other WWE notes: Jay Uso, Gunther. Is it getting stale in your opinion?
I don't personally feel it. The thing that I have kind of hated was this whole Jey Uso side quest with A-Town Down Under. I get it, you're trying to get them some TV time. If you want to sell Jey Uso being as the ultimate underdog, why in the hell would he be going basically 1v2 and winning against a tag team, a formidable tag team who was just tag team champs? That doesn't make any sense to me. I hate that part.
I think it is to heat him up.
That's the thing. It's like this whole thing is supposed to be kind of Jay. It's kind of like that Sami Zayn approach to Gunther, which worked out the first time perfectly. I mean, maybe they're trying to go a different direction and make them two formidable forces before Mania, but I don't know. I like the whole idea of Jay being kind of like the laughing stock of not because of his talent, obviously, but it's just that's his character. And trying to fight against that, which again, maybe that's what they're trying to tell here, but actual Gunther versus Jay, not getting stale for me. I'm thoroughly enjoying it because I think it's breaking Gunther's character down even more into some more emotional side of him. But building Jay up, I don't know if I like it, which I'm sure most people do like it.
I am a fan of it. I want Jey Uso going into WrestleMania strong and going over. I think that from the spot of the underdog and the upset, then I think it takes a little credibility away from Gunther with the Sami Zayn feud in the background and in the past that he was underdogged twice out of the title. And so I like a strong Jey Uso. He is main event Jey Uso. He will be a champion. And so next week, WWE Raw, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon here. That's lunch.
Wait, is that in London next
Germany.
week? Ooh.
And that is where, in the afternoon, as the school bell rings out, we're going to get the John Cena Cody Rhodes confrontation.
I don't want to oversell the moment of what we're going to have next week, because I hope we don't have Cena talking. I hope The Rock is there. I don't think he'll be there. It's overseas. That's a lot of work for Rock to do for this pissant company that he doesn't give a shit about. Sorry. But I don't know. I did get glimpses of from Cody's promo this past week of a little bit more of a heelish side to him, which excites me.
Yeah, they are overseas for quite some time. I am interested if this will be the only kind of random time of it all, but I think we are well on the road to WrestleMania, and coming off the heels of a strong AEW pay-per-view, I would say it is a great time to be a wrestling fan. Ian, what say you?
Yeah, no, it is a fantastic time to be a wrestling fan. AEW Revolution, I thought, was a really, really, really good really good card. And now, I mean, it really does feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania, which finally, even after Elimination Chamber, there are still some question marks here and about, and there still are some question marks, which is good going into WrestleMania. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Tuck, do you want to send us home?
Yeah, I'll send us home right after we name the MVM, the most valuable mark of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. Each show, we award and bestow upon one member of the chat, and that member is just chiming in with us, right? Chipping in along the way, offering comments, making the chat and the OTM community come alive. And we do not have a retain this week, Ian. We have an new most valuable mark, the OTM MVM, ladies and gentlemen, paperclip Mike. Wow. And this is another trademark, the parody in the MVM community. Paperclip Mike, the first MVM title for him in 2025. Ooh. Ian.
We took some predictions for the MVM before the show between the three of us, and Paperclip Mike was not in the discussion. So huge upset by Paperclip Mike. We hope to see him back next week to retain that title, because Kine cannot do so. The guy tuned in beginning of the stream, said, I'm here to defend my title. He just kind of laid down in the middle of the ring, let Paperclip Mike go over. I mean, hey, good on you, brother, but Paperclip Mike, our new MVM, and congratulations.
Hey, the guy had work, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Take it easy on our guy. Paperclip Mike joining the list of a number of other candidates that have won the most valuable mark this year. Like we said, Ian, it is a great time to be a wrestling fan. It's also a great time to visit onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Around pay-per-views, we offer discount codes. But visit onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com for all your merch needs, and to support the podcast. We would really appreciate it. And you know what else we would really appreciate is if you visit the Main Event Wrestling Network over on Twitter /X at @mainevent_net, and on YouTube. I am a Main Event Mixer kind of guy. Ian, your thoughts on the Main Event Wrestling Network?
Main Event Wrestling Network, never been hotter. Who's hotter? Nobody. Again, tons of talent, and we actually had a really good conversation between me and Mr. OTM just about how much the community has grown. And genuinely, the idea started while we were driving back from an all-out in Chicago in my car, and we couldn't be happier of the community that has kind of been created. Just seeing the support from one to another, just between the creators, is awesome, and the fans, again, we appreciate you all.
And specifically within the Main Event Wrestling Network, there is a new blog out from Paperclip Mike, our current most valuable mark, about Evolve. So head on over to the Main Event Wrestling Network and check that out, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We are on the road to 500 people and 200 plus episodes in. We are finally starting to make it down in this subscriber count, and it means a lot to you and to I and to Kyle Gagliardi. Shout out to @2SweetKyle on Twitter. Too sweet. For being behind the scenes, pressing all the keys, doing what he does because he is Mr. GAG, Kyle Gagliardi. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great week. Ian, you can do the honors and send us home.
Oh,
Yikes.
whoa. What are you doing here?
Send us home. I'm doing the ending with you, Dick.
Oh, God, his mic is so bad.
That was crispy.
Thank you so much for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. I forgot how you close it out. I'm going to be honest.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Make sure you tune in next week as we talk all things AEW, WWE, and possibly your favorite other show, NXT. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.